AI excites me, but not because of AI. AI excites me that I think it's going to be the world's greatest distraction ever created, worse than social media or doom scrolling. I think that humans will become dumber and that all these businesses are going to wake up and they have donated so many fucking hours talking to a screen or thinking they're builders of SaaS and all this shit, trying to be the most efficient tech company, in the world, getting rid of humans. And I'm like, I love it because I just want to go steal all of the great humans that are going to be ignored or put out on the streets because of these dumbass business owners.
Welcome to Unfiltered, the official podcast of propertymanagement.com. I'm your host, Dylan Scroggins. Got a special guest today, Washington's finest. We're not talking about Sean Alexander. We're not talking about Sean Kemp. We're definitely not talking about Bill Gates. We're talking about Mr. Ian Joseph, founder, CEO of the Joseph Group. Ian, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
For those listening, not a lot of people watch the YouTube. We're more of a Spotify crew. We're going casual today. You got the hoodie. I got the hat. It's Friday. Matt's not here. He's got his own stuff going on with some work, but also he's got a newborn at home and can't limited access to the podcast. So, man, we're going to keep it loose today and have a good time. So from Alabama to Washington, let's
hold
get
on.
going.
So younger than your newborn?
Oh yeah. Something's in the water at propertymanagement.com. I got a 4-month-old. Matt's got a 4-week-old, and Chuck Hadimer, our president, has like a 2-month-old.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So when we talk about formula, it's not about like AI, whatever. It's like, like legit formula. That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, well, man, thanks for joining us. So catch us up. I know me and you have talked a good bit, but for those who have no clue about the Joseph Group, tell us a little about how you got started in property management, the boring stuff like door count, and man, just give us a quick high level before we get in the nitty gritty.
Yeah, how I got into it, the origin story. My then future, now ex mother-in-law one day said,
Great intro, by the way. That should be her LinkedIn profile.
hey, if you're going to marry my daughter, what are you even doing with your life? I was like, oh, well, good question. I have no clue. We had worked restaurants and thought I was going to work restaurants, and I had no clue, man. I have a weird background. I have no college. I'm a felon. I went to jail. I worked restaurants. I was just enjoying my life. And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, well, why don't you come on with me? She was in real estate for 30 years as a relocation and property management. So I was like, all right. So she paid for my schooling at Rockwell back then. And then back then it was in person. So it was like 2 weeks to get my hours. I just drove up to Bellevue, Washington, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, got my hours. She took me to Ross, Ross, Dress for Less,
Yeah, we got Ross here. Yeah.
Took me to Ross, got me a couple outfits, took me to like Sears or something and got me a laptop, or Circuit City back then, maybe.
Yeah. RIP Sears and Circuit City, but I think Ross is still here.
Yeah. God, I loved Ross. Yeah. And man, it got me started. And so I joined I got licensed in September 2008. So for those of you that don't remember back then, I'm old enough to know that was I probably got licensed in real estate the day the market crashed in real estate, right?
Yeah, I graduated like 8 months later. Awesome time to graduate.
Yeah, she got me going. And so I worked at a company called John All Scott, which is kind of a Northwest local real estate firm, pretty good sized firm. They were like top 3 in our state for real estate sales and focused on property management. And back then it was still carbon paper for move-ins, huge filing cabinet rooms. And I would just sat in my living room at night and kind of figured out how to grow a business on the internet and worked restaurants during the day. I would take calls like on a smoke break, book appointments for the evening. And then I'd go, change in the parking lot and go do like new business development until I had enough doors to I was portfolio style back then. And so I had enough doors where I was just kind of giving up all my shifts. I gave up all my working shifts for about a month. And that's when my boss called me, and real close friend, still one of my closest friends. And he was like, hey, you haven't worked for a month. It's time to cut loose, And so, yeah, so I quit and I was just kind of off to the races.
So clarify, were you selling houses then, or were you trying to get houses under management?
Houses under management. I got into the business strictly for property management, but in Washington, to manage a third party, you have to be a licensed real estate broker. Yeah. Good question.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So walk us through. So you're sitting at, let's say 15 doors, about to leave the restaurant. It sounds like you got pushed out of the nest a little bit, huh? To say, hey, go do this.
It's yeah. So September. So by January, I was at like 16 doors. And then I think I remember somewhere between 16 and 30 doors on like a 50-50 rev share was like, I mean, back then I was probably making like 30 grand a year, you know? And so yeah, I just I was getting a steady paycheck enough to kind of pay my bills, and so he was like, "Yo, just it's time to quit." And I was like, "All right, I quit." And I wrote it. I was in the bar. I went in for lunch, and I wrote it on a napkin. Gave He was like, "You need to give written notice." I wrote it on the cocktail napkin, handed it in, and that was that. It's really interesting because back then I was 25, and everyone else in the industry seemed like they were 70. They were probably really like 40, but when you're 25, they just seem a lot older.
Yeah, I turned 40 next year. So yeah, that checks out.
I'm 43 now, so I'm like, no, they had to have been older, but no one used the internet. So, like, honestly, I just got hooked up on like allpropertymanagement.com back then, a couple other sites that did just like the bare minimum to get some leads trickling in. Leads were so cheap, nobody else was on there. It was just me, and like I said, I would just be taking calls during the day on my break, and then booking myself at night. And then when I went full time, I mean, that's all I did. It was not hard. It was not rocket science. I mean, there's not a whole lot to learn in property management. You kind of learn as you go. I'd go to the office, treat it like a job, you know, every day and just built a portfolio. And that was 2008 to 2012. I kind of got to like, I don't know, 70, 80, 100 doors. And in 2011, from then, I was kind of looking to be doing more and see what my future was like. And she basically kind of told me, you know, this is it. Like, hey, you got a good life. Like, you should be happy or whatever. I was like, I don't know, man. This is not it for me. You know, I'm 26, feel like I could do well in this industry. So I kind of started looking around, and when you look around, like the world just brings opportunities to you. And so I got recruited to a company in Bellevue, Washington on the east side. And what they were is they were the number one REO brokerage. So they were 100 agent real estate office, traditional real estate sales, but focused on REO, so real estate owned. So they had
Mm,
a lot of the foreclosures listings. They were the number one foreclosure listing agent in the state. So what they attracted was buyers agents because they had priority access to all these off market deals for bank owned deals. And a lot of them were investors. And so they kind of saw down the road the vision of like, man, we got this ecosystem, we should have management. And so they got in my ear, and in 2012 I joined them, and it was like a start over. You can't, as a portfolio manager, one of the biggest sort of issues in this industry is the gold handcuffs. Like, you can't bring your portfolio with you when you leave and you start over. By then I had a family and had kind of grown. I did marry her, and her daughter by then, and we had a baby and about a little townhouse, and I went to 0, so there's a lot of stress naps, and I'm like, "What the fuck am I gonna do now?" Major mistakes, right? I was like, "Damn, why did I walk away from that?" But it worked out. Those guys taught me about business. We got a hedge fund. We worked with Progress Residential and Invitation Homes. We did a lot of acquisitions. We inserted ourselves into management, and we went on like a really good run, a 4-year cycle when we got to 400 units, just me and a bookkeeper, just crushing it 7 days a week in 3 counties. And I basically cut my teeth there on the business side of business. So I just keep rolling.
yeah, keep going, man. No, this is great. Yeah, this is perfect.
This is like the origin story of
Feeling it.
Joseph Group now. So now we're in 2012, we're crushing it. 2015, 2016, kind of the hedge funds, a lot of that we're kind of slowing down in our market specifically. And so in one night, we lost, I think we were at like 370 units, and we had about 200 of those were with Progress Residential. And they, in one night, they were like, "Yeah, we're exiting Seattle and we're selling in bulk to American Homes for Rent." And so just like that, you lose more than
Mm.
half your portfolio.
And I'm guessing you weren't sitting at the table when that decision was made.
No, no, and we were thinking we'd get part of the dispositions, and so we weren't too worried about it. But when they just did the bulk sale, and then we couldn't really get ourselves in with American Homes for Rent, and so it was going to be kind of a start over. But by then, I mean, I felt like I'd learned a lot. I'd put a lot of money away. When you're a single unit operator, taking half the revenue of that company, I didn't own the company, but I was on a 50% rev share of a 400 unit company with one employee. And so, I mean, yeah, we were doing pretty well, and I had very little expenses because I grew up very poor and I didn't even need a lot. And so at that point, I was like, I'm gonna start my own company. And so in 2016, I approached Scott Miller and Ed Lane, the owners of Miller Lane, and structured a buyout. So in January of 2017, I started the Joseph Group. I had bought Miller Lane Property Management, 170 unit company, and that was kind of day one of uh, of the Joseph Group.
Man, so you're coming up on 10 years in January, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a
It's crazy.
milestone right
It's
there.
crazy. Crazy. In
Yeah.
20 years, I mean, I got licensed in '08.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're about the same age. You remind me of, like, when you're playing, like, Super Nintendo when you're younger and it gets all, like, fuzzy and stops, you gotta, like, eject it, blow it, and then put it back in. You basically did that 3 times in, 15 years at a pretty extreme I mean, you basically went back to 0 3 different times, am I right?
Yeah, and it worked. I'm a good life gambler. I like to
Tell
say
me
I'm a
more.
gambler, but I like to think in bets and gambling and just sorta I don't need a lotta I can make quick life decisions in seconds, and just the way my brain works, I can just kinda see a lot of pathways and just make my decision and get after it, and then I just know that I'll do whatever it takes for my family, and so
Yeah,
I know
figure
that
it out.
yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of folks, like, especially on the W-2 side later in their career, where they just start freaking out that their career is not perfectly linear and they don't want to take a lateral move or a step back. And it's like, welcome to life, man.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this is? Like, there's no rules saying that every role you get next is going to be a title bump and a pay bump. And I think the entrepreneurial journey, especially in property management, it's like, man, this could all change in a year and it could get double better or double worse, you know? So, yeah, man, it seems like you got that muscle, no doubt. So, all right, so now we're at the Joseph Group, starting there. Walk us through the I mean, are you, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you starting at 0 doors under management and you got to go, beast mode to reference, little Marshawn reference there? Are you starting at 0 again? Do you have some capital that's rolled over? Like, where are you at in life right now when you're, once again, putting the Super Nintendo game back in?
So in 2017, where I'm at in life is I had started my entire life over. So I got divorced at 32. And that's, I think, a year later, or later that year, I started the company. And so just a whole new journey. I bought Miller Lane Property Management. So it's 170 units. So day one, I had 170 units. I bought the company that I had kind of worked for after we lost the hedge fund and shrunk. Rather than rebuild for them, I approached them to buy it, but I was prepared to leave no matter what. So I was thinking in bets back then again. So I had actually found a company in Tacoma that I had negotiated and I was under LOI with. At the same time, I was approaching Scott and Ed to buy them out. And I said, no matter what happens with Scott and Ed, I'm leaving. And I'm under LOI. And so I was like, I could, it was like a chess game with my mentors back then, and I was like, I think I could beat them right now and I can leave with everything I want. But if not, I'm still leaving if I got nothing but my shirt on my back. But I was able to engineer it. I left on really good terms. I bought the company from them. They're still very close friends and mentors of mine. I bought that company in Tacoma a month later. And then I bought another company 2 months later. I started a real estate division and I started the construction company and became a general contractor. So the first year of business, we did 3 acquisitions, got us to about 400 units, started a real estate company, brought in a recruiter, bought a small team, had about 10 agents, 2 full-time inside sales agents, a full-time recruiter, recruited. I bought out and recruited my biggest handyman company. I knew they were business partners and they weren't very happy. And so I plucked one of them, brought half his staff over. And so by the end of year one, we had the construction maintenance in-house with 5 techs, 10 sales agents and a 400 unit management company. And I was like, all right, we're legit.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's a great foundation too. 400 to where you're at now. What is your door count right now?
We're like 1,800 right now.
Man, yeah. I'm Alabama math here, but that's 4x growth in a pretty short amount of time. So well done. And have you done any acquisitions past that sprint, or has it been more organic since then?
Mainly acquisitions. Yeah. We've done in total somewhere between 9 and 13 of different sizes. And when we've learned a lot and gone through a lot of different iterations of the company and different shifts, it was a lot sexier when we were growing earlier. Now it's like, 4x growth in 9 years. I'm like, that's not very, I used to be a lot cooler 5 years ago. It was like 5x growth in 5 years or something. When you're doubling every year early on, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I'm the man. All right, rabbit trail here. All right, so on the acquisition stuff, and I feel like we got some nuggets in here for the person starting out. We got nuggets for the person who's starting over, but also I do see a new trend starting in a lot of conversations with PM folks for the podcast, yes, but also on the recruiting side is the acquisition. Right. And I think a lot of times when people think of acquisitions in this space, they think of the big dogs, Evernest. Shout out them. They're 4 blocks from me right now. Good people. But, they're 20,000 doors. Not everybody wants that. Not everybody can do that. Or even, yeah, like I said, wants to do that.
Yeah.
But I am starting to see a lot more traction in the folks saying, hey, instead of going organic from 700 to 1,200, 1,200 to 2,500, what am I doing? I need to go acquire. So walk me through the rabbit trail for you and Joseph Group, but also the industry as a whole. Yeah, just like act like I'm a junior finance major trying to learn about property management acquisitions. Like, what's the strategy right now? Are you trying to find people who are equal size and doing big purchase? Are you trying to pick off the onesie twosie kind of 40 to 60 door mom and pop stuff? Like, you don't have to tell me your exact strategy, but it is unfiltered. I want to hear your thoughts on this world and what's it like right now in the industry.
Yeah. If I had a strategy, I'd let you give all the documents to all your listeners. I'll tell you how I think about it. I'm going through a bit of a midlife crisis regarding all that, but here's my thoughts on it. If you want a great lifestyle business and you know your personal income goals and what you need to be, you reverse engineer that, and you should be anywhere, under 500 units, and you're probably achieving that. I think that you could be making, you know, a 300 unit company should be doing at least 1,000,000. And so if your personal income goals are in like that two to $400,000 range, like it's pretty achievable at like 300 units. Then you kind of go from there. I think if you hit 500 or 600 units or just over that, and again, it's how people build their companies are totally different. And so I might have just made a lot of mistakes in my life, but there's a no man's land there where you start taking steps backwards because you have to invest in growth and do some other things, and you're shoring up multiple departments or different things. So invested in the company, your personal as you're getting bigger, your personal income is actually shrinking, or at least that's what I noticed. And so I thought that was going to be like 800 to 1,200 units. I was like, I need to get to 12 as fast as I can. And so acquisitions was and still is a major part of my growth strategy. Once we pushed through 1,200 units, things kind of stabilized. But I did make some stupid mistakes in that area. But now that we've gotten 1800 plus, I feel like we're back in no man's land, which I don't love. And so I'm trying to kind of figure that out. And so as far as like I would not stop. I would say 500 or less. I think 800 to 1,200 is a weird spot to kind of stop, maybe like 1,100 to 1,400. I don't know. It just depends what you're trying to do. Because you're gonna have to keep getting bigger. Then you run into an issue at a certain size. This is what I like to look at: the Everness of the world, or the Poplars and the Mines, and all these guys. Nobody's achieved it yet, but I believe it's a house of cards that they're all built on. And so, me personally, 1,800 units. What I've heard from Peter Lohman and some of the other stats that come out, that if you're a good company or a great company, your churn, your attrition is 8 to 10%. So if we take 10%, I got to regrow by 180 units a year just to not grow. And so I've already
Mhm.
built that machine. I built that because I knew that was coming. But I bet a lot of listeners, I'm like, what does your sales and marketing machine look like right now? How much can you predictively bring in to stay ahead of churn? And then as you grow. And so when we were bringing in 20 units a month consistently, which we still do, when we were 800 units, 1,000, 1,200 units, we were rock stars. Now it's like, dude, that's just table stakes. We need a machine bringing in 30 to 50 a month to kind of stay ahead. New clients every single month. And that's the machine I'm building now. You take like a Evernest, if they're 20,000 units, I don't know what their churn is, but even if, let's say it's 10%, I mean, fuck, you got to be growing by 2,000 units a year just to not grow. And so I think that's why a lot of these big companies fail, is that they just haven't figured it's kind of the organic. And we started investing. We think of it more of as a company, not a management company. And so we're building sort of more C-suite levels. And so we have a marketing team that we're investing in. And we think of it a little bit differently. And so if you're not ready to think of it like that, invest like that, do the things needed to kind of build that company up, um, then you should just stay a smaller operator and have a really great life.
Nothing wrong with that. It's amazing how many property management businesses or just industry as a whole parallels systematically with the software industry. I
Mm.
spent 10 years in software for better for worse. I tell people I don't have any gray hair because I just lost the hair. It's like let's just skip the gray stuff. Let's just get out of here. So VC PE backed companies had a great experience. I was spoiled. I actually worked for legit software companies where a lot of them are just absolute smoke. But you're right. Like churn is gonna be there. That's just part of it. Like people stop and start, especially now with all the vibe coding, whatever. But like it gets to a point like no man's land is real. Like you can have a lifestyle software business where, once again, it's like your expenses are low, but then you take on funding and you gotta have more engineers and salespeople, whatever. Like it becomes this dance. And if you don't know, like if you're not the one turning the music on that you want to dance to, you're gonna be dancing to someone else's, right?
Yeah.
Until the music stops. And I think it's so interesting the parallels where I promise you someone could read a software book on scale and 100% implemented property management, but also the opposite. I'm guarantee you not a software folks are thinking of property management as a parallel industry, but it's crazy how identical it is.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just the way it's kind of gone because where your attention and energy goes, like that's where life happens. And so as I've gotten bigger, every acquisition I've done has been bigger. And I'm looking at some now that are quite large, but I'm not I've kind of put a pin in it, right now. We're not quite ready. I think I took a step back just to see if it's really what we want. Like I said, the kind of midlife crisis stuff we're going through. But yeah, I mean, I'll do any of them. I like some of the strategies. I mean, for me, NARPM built my life. I mean, I had great mentors in NARPM. I'm still involved in NARPM. People refer me acquisitions through NARPM. I buy my friends NARPM members companies when they're ready to retire. I mean, that's been most of it. I lay in bed at night and I look at, LoopNet or BizBuy and search for it. I mean, buying companies is my hobby. I mean, I like work. That's I love this shit. And so I want to go drink beers and talk business. Like that's just my thing. Or golf or be with my family or mow my lawn. Like those. I don't have a whole lot going on.
Yeah. I love it. What's that meme when the wife and the husband are laying in bed and he's on the phone and she's thinking, I bet he's, thinking about other women. And it's like, no, I'm just on LoopNet. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just on Biz Myself. Yeah. So we got to talk some golf later. First sign of spring is the Masters, man. You think Scotty's going to do it again?
I know.
You think Rory's going to do it again?
I don't have any thoughts.
Have you ever been to Augusta?
I'm not. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't do sports.
You just said you're into golf.
I personally play golf. I
You
have one
play, you
trip.
don't watch.
I don't watch any sports.
I respect that. I watch a lot less than people may think from the way I talk, but I ain't got time for that, man.
There's only so many hours in the day, and this is going to sound cheesy, and I'm not great at it, but I am trying to be the best husband, father, and business owner I can. And I don't have time for sports.
That's not cheesy at all. And also, too, I can see it when your kids get older. I mean, my kids are still fairly young. When I mean, dude, if my kid gets interested in curling, I'll sit there and watch it with them, right?
Yeah.
But like right now, like I don't like it enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I'll watch the Tide play football, but I don't watch like when they're playing Alcorn State University Community College. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch like the big games, but yeah, man, when you're building a business, like you gotta say no to way more things you say yes to.
Yeah. I used to watch, I mean, football was my sport, and I would, every Sunday, every Seahawks game, red zone. I was in a fantasy football league for 10 plus years. And just one day I just gave it all up. Yeah. A couple years ago.
Yeah,
Probably about 5 years ago now, 5, 6 years ago.
I respect that. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to too, right? It's like it's not cheesy; it's just like the reality. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantasy football, man. I got some hot takes on
When
that.
they
I
say
think
you
it's a
can't have
massive waste
everything
of
you
time.
want, but you can have anything you want, right? And so I really believe that with enough, focus and consistency over time, I know I'll achieve anything I want in life.
Love it. Well, you're doing it, man. So let's zoom out. All right.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the Joseph Group and I blended in a lot of other things that, especially with the acquisition stuff. But all right, property management. I've been involved in it, I guess, arguably, 10 years ago, took a step out. But even when I was in B2B software, like we had a lot of property management companies we sold into. But now the last 2 years of recruiting, correct me if I'm wrong. This is your interview, not mine. But it seems like there's a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum. And I'm not talking about just AI. You can talk about that if you want. But you, with your involvement in NARPM and just being and it seems like a really good, stable market. What gets you excited right now in property management? Maybe what gets you concerned? But yeah, let's get the crystal ball out and tell us what you're thinking about the industry the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, we could quickly talk about AI because AI excites me, but not because of AI. AI excites me that I think it's going to be the world's greatest distraction ever created, worse than social media or doom scrolling. I think that humans will become dumber and that all these businesses are going to wake up and they have donated so many fucking hours talking to a fucking screen or thinking they're builders of SaaS and all this fucking shit, trying to be the most efficient tech company, in the world, getting rid of humans. And I'm like, I love it because I just want to go steal all of the great humans that are going to be ignored or put out on the streets because of these dumbass business owners that are going all in AI. I could be totally wrong, but I love to watch. I think every industry is probably like this, but I am involved in my industry. I think the herd mentality is so strong in property management, especially NARPM. It cracks me up watching everyone just mob together to different vendors or different things. And I'm just like, okay, and I'll just go the opposite direction. And so there's weird things going on in Seattle right now with salary laws. And so I know that like Mind, Poplar, Evernet, all these big companies are just axing all of their humans up here. And I'm just hiring them all.
It's unfiltered. I mean,
And I
that's a
love it.
hot take,
And I
man.
love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't want to pay your people? I love it. Fuck it. I'll pay them. I want to pay them most. Let me hear it. Let me tell you, world. If you are a rock star human being, this is the one plug I'm going to give. If you are fucking crushing life, but your company doesn't value you, I will give you a blank fucking check to come crush life at the Joseph Group, and you will have the best life you've ever had.
How many doors you want to be at by the year end?
I don't really know if I don't really know if I care about doors this year. This is a restructuring reorganization year for me, and so 2,500 to 3,200 was kind of the original goal, and I have a large acquisition on deck, but I don't really care about any of that right now. I'm shifting away from all that.
All right, so you're shifting. You mentioned earlier, I made a note of this about you're
Yeah,
thinking differently about the marketing.
yeah.
So everybody's shifting right now. So if you had said at the beginning of the call before we started talking, and you said, "Hey, I'm shifting," I'm thinking, "All right, what's this dude doing with open claw or AI this or that?" But you're saying you're shifting, but you're not shifting to where the herd's going. So tell us, man, where are you shifting?
I don't know where the herd's going. I just think that the way things are moving right now, I don't need to solve for any of that. I know that I'm pretty tech savvy. I mean, I like messing around with AI and building stuff in my personal life, but as far as business goes, I don't need to reinvent anything. We're pretty old school. Like, I mean, I'm on propertyware for 20 years. Like, we're not, we're not where I have a simple tech stack that we've used the entire time. We don't really integrate with new vendors. But here's what I'm banking on, that if I have the highest level humans in my company in every position, I'm talking like top down to like the remote maintenance coordinator is like a high value human, highly paid, high value human. I'm probably moving away from remote teammates, honestly. Whatever I want to implement tech wise or anything else efficiency wise, those humans will just do it anyways and for me with zero training, zero management. I don't have to do shit. And so maybe everyone else thinks like that. And I'm late to the party, but I just think last year we invested the entire year in investing in leadership, management layers, more advanced systems, integrating AI. And I was like, what the fuck? All of this because it was to tell us like, we really just need really good humans to do their fucking job at a high level. Like,
Yeah, you're literally looking for a guy named Claude and not Claude. Yeah,
right.
so yeah, I'll hire Claude. Yeah, no, his name's like Claude. He's great. He's got a family. Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
They
or
say,
Al, like
what
AI written down looks like Al. It's like you're just looking for Al.
That's my out.
Yeah,
They call
yeah.
there's this thing I saw that I'm kind of obsessed with now. It's high agency versus low agency. It's called the K line.
Oh, interesting.
You know about that?
No, I read an article about high agency, but they don't have a monopoly in that term. So tell me more.
So the way it was kind of described, and I saw it on this podcast, was like with AI in the middle, you're gonna have humans are gonna be going towards high agency or low agency. High agency humans are gonna be the humans that like they're Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit with Jarvis or whatever, right? And it's like one human to the power of 3, 10, 100, whatever, because they can leverage everything around them into superpowers. Low agency is the opposite, where AI is using them. It's like go pick up box, put box here. And I think a lot of vendors and a lot of property management companies that I see online, I can only speak for myself, are looking to replace humans with the AI or making AI very efficient or to make decisions for them. And AI is a tool, just like a hammer is a tool. But the moment you use it differently, you're the tool. And I think that too many of us are building it because we're gonna have either we don't want humans in the company or we're viewing humans as the tools. And I'm like, man, you just need different humans. And so a buddy of mine who owns one of the prop tech companies that's pretty popular, he told me a story about how one of his developers in one day was shipping product like 8 times the level of anyone else on the team. And he was like, that's when I realized like I just need him, not the 8-man team anymore. And what I should do is get more of him. And so I think there's a huge divide coming between the kind of level of output and what humans are capable of, and that maybe everybody else has great humans and I'm just late to the party, but we have a strong team, but we built a team that was built on top of systems and tech and management and a lot of metrics and KPIs. And that's the wrong way of building. I think I'm going to throw out metrics. I don't think I'm going to care about KPIs. I'm going to just going to only have really good humans and know
See
that
what
they'll
happens.
do a good job. So, we'll just see what happens.
All right, this is good. I'm about to throw something at you. Who would you rather have on your team, Frankenstein or Batman? And here's what I mean by that. Frankenstein is created, and I haven't read that story or seen that movie or done anything in decades. Frankenstein was created, became a monster, kind of clumsy, got out of control, started fighting everybody, whatever. What's Batman? And dude, I'm an expert on Batman right now. My son's entering that phase. The interesting about Batman is Batman's just a dude. And Superman's just a dude. Spider-Man's a little different. You know, he got bit by the spider and stuff, whatever, you know, different blood tests. But they're just
Batman,
dudes with fantastic. Yeah, that's what I'm talking
100%,
about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Batman. So, but
100%.
what makes Batman Batman is that Batman is jacked. I mean, he's already in good shape, but it's his equipment when he puts on the kind of bat suit, whatever he calls it, jumps in the Batmobile. Like you're looking for Batman and Batwomen or Catwoman, whatever. That like they're already like great humans, but you give them this equipment and they can become even greater rather than a Frankenstein that's like piecemeal together. And like Frankenstein ain't a hero. Batman's a hero.
But the tools don't make Batman better. Batman. I love that we're talking Batman. Batman's the world's greatest detective. He can solve any problem with his levels of prepare. We're really reading like the back of his comic card. It's his ability to leverage the tools, to use them and be prepared and know which tools to use and how to use it. That's it. It's the human.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that was a
Human
rhetorical
that makes the
question,
difference,
Frankenstein or
not the
Batman.
tools.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And he's also got a team behind him. And
Yeah.
what's the dude? What's the old man in
Alfred?
the cave? Hey, Al. You like that?
Yeah. See?
Wow, we just came full circle on Al.
That's right.
Dude, I got hold on 2 seconds for our listeners. Give me 2 seconds. Once again, not as many people on YouTube. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I get such AI garbage emails all day, every day from vendors. Like one dude didn't even spell my company name right. One person, my name was just a comma. They didn't put the wrong name. It was just a comma. I'm just like, y'all get out of here. You're trying to sell me like AI recruiting solutions, and your solutions suck. So, man, I got 50 of these books. Who Not How. Have you ever read this? Dude, the best book, exactly what we're talking about. And you know what? I do biz dev, man. You know, it's like I'm trying to build a
Yeah.
business myself. I literally buy these in like probably packs of 25. And every week, I'm starting to do this now. I just mail out 5 to like different small business or PM owners around the nation.
I love
That's
it.
my biz dev, man. I just send them a book and a t-shirt. And, you know, it might be 3 years down the road when they might need a recruitment partner and they might not even use me then, but at least
Yeah.
they got a good book. And it's like, robot ain't going to do that anytime soon. You know, so it's like I'm tracking with you, man. I once again, I'm still trying to use AI in my business, but I'm not trying to force feed it
Well, don't
because
get me
if you
wrong.
don't, it's going to cause more problems.
I use it
That's the
every
thing.
single day. I just don't think
100%.
AI isn't the advantage. It's a tool. It's the humans. It's execution, right? The humans that can execute, know how to use it to leverage them up or to, compound them. That's where I think kind of the difference is. And I don't think that is something you teach. I don't think AI replaces that. I don't want AI to do my maintenance coordination. I want to have one high level human that can use AI to free them up to do the human to human touch. There will never be a day where AI voice or text is doing my fucking maintenance ever. 0% chance. Full stop. But can it make behind the scenes free the time up for my one human to do the human to human? And for that, you just need the human, because you could put AI or tech or you could put all of those solutions in later at any point. If you have the right human that knows how to, and, cognitive function, problem solving skills, kind of those high agency skill sets. Once you have that, it don't matter. I mean, the models are changing so fast. It's like, dude, it doesn't even matter. My team could switch between the models or do whatever's needed if you have the right humans on the team. Maybe everyone is thinking like that. That's not what I see. All I ever see is people are like, man, I'm going to replace my entire team, or, for clock bot and all this other shit. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
Yeah, I hear you. No, man, well, I'm 100% tracking with you. I feel like that Batman or Frankenstein is not bad, man. Maybe that's a
Or
whole other
Frankenstein.
podcast. What's that?
Or Frankenstein, man.
I know, right? But yeah, no, I'm tracking with you. I mean, and look, maybe someone's listening to this and like, y'all are idiots. Y'all just don't know the right integration. Y'all
Probably.
didn't stay up till 3 a.m. drinking Monster and playing with OpenClaw. But I'm like, I'm happy where I'm at, man. And going back to like, what do you want? What do you want in your business? What do you want in your life? What do you want to do? And it sounds pretty lonely to sit in a room with just a bunch of robots working for me. I like people,
Never
man.
said I
Call me
wasn't an
crazy.
idiot. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I've like you said, I've started over many times in my life. Maybe I'll go to zero and have to start
Maybe
over.
we're wrong. No,
Yeah.
man. Look, you didn't have to sell me. Like you're saying a lot of things. And once again, I'm not a PM business owner, but everything you're saying, it's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to do it in my own business.
This is just, I think the question is like, what do you see like the next few years of the trends? And I just think like, when everyone was going to remote teammates and this, there's just, everyone's going to start moving towards this. It's, there's a lot of hype and everything. And I just feel like it's like, yo, I don't got to run down there, man. It's like old bull, young bull, you know, like I'll just hang out here, find some really good high level teammates. And when the right thing comes along, we'll just snatch it up and then we'll implement it with the team. I don't think it's a race to do any of that. So I think
Yeah.
it's a shiny object right now. And so what I love about it is with shiny objects, people spend a lot of time with that. And I have a high ability to kind of focus in few areas and just do what I'm doing. And hopefully that'll be an edge. I don't know if it will be, but it's worked for me so far.
Thinking in bets, man. I like it. All
Yeah.
right.
There's a
Let's
book. That is a book. That's a book, Thinking in
oh
Bets.
yeah, what's her name? I read her other book. I didn't
Anna,
read that one.
Annie Duke, I think. Yeah.
Annie Duke. Yeah,
Yeah.
she wrote a book called Quit. So good. So good. All right. Well, let's do this. We got some let's land the plane here, man. This has been awesome.
Okay, good.
All right. So this is one of our favorite questions. We asked it on a whim to a friend last year, and it's become part of the, part of the Rolodex. Property manager's hard. Running a PM business is very hard. How has being in property management changed you as a person?
That was a great question. I don't know if it's changed me as a person. What I can say is that property management opens you up to a lot of humans and a lot of scenarios and a lot of situations. It's very unique, and we have a saying in the office. We just humans are fascinating, and so we have a lot of fascinating experiences on a kind of a daily or weekly basis. And so I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for that one, but
It's
I
good.
don't
I mean, you're
change. I don't know if I change a whole lot. I just kind of do my thing.
I like it. No, it's great. Humans are fascinating. That's and you said that with an eye raise. Because I mean, you're dealing with people's homes or lives or egos, their money. It makes sense. All right, wrap up lightning round here. Try to keep these as brief as possible, but we've never stopped anybody from going down a rabbit trail. All right, favorite tool or app for your business right now?
Your brain, my brain.
Gosh, that might be definitely top three best answer we've gotten for that one. What's a book or podcast every PM leader should check out?
Use
Your
tools.
brain.
Use tools, don't become the tool. Like, I just can't reinforce that enough with I hope my team listens to this. Don't become the tool. Use tools, okay? Favorite book? The Road Less Stupid, Keith Cunningham.
I never heard that one.
I have a couple books. I like to go deep on subjects rather than I don't need to read 100 books a year guy. I would read the same 4 books every year until I find one to kind of replace those 4 books. And this one came into my life a few years ago. I read it at least once a year, if not twice. And actually, see previous answer. It's all about establishing purposeful thinking time and within your business and areas, and to slow down and then use your brain and thinking time to kind of solve for that. So it's all the mistakes Keith Cunningham made in his career, and then how he could have questions he could have asked himself, or thoughts he could have, internal discussions to avoid paying the dumb tax.
The dumb tax. I've definitely been hit with that a few times. Yeah, my three are all the Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy. The Who Not How, 10x over 2x, and Gap of the Gain. It's like those are my foundational. Like it's crazy when you read these books so many times, they become like a lens to run your business. And until I try to read all three of those each year, even if I just skim them or do like a little audible, or whatever. It's still kind of keeping them in my DNA. All right, man. Last question. One word to describe the future of property management.
Talent.
Woo! Pulling my heartstrings there.
It's almost like you paid me to be here.
Yeah. Do you want me to do Venmo or Zelle?
Cash App.
Cash App. Keep it on the down low. Man, this was a good time. A real good time. Do you want a blue or a green hat? I feel like get a hat.
Yeah, that's a good one. Ooh, what kind of green?
Let me show you real quick.
Oh man, God, they're both good. Green.
All right, cool. We'll get you a hat, man. Love it. All right. Hopefully I'll see you. Are you gonna be a broker owner?
I'll be a broker owner.
Cool. I'll see you in
Let
NOLA.
me in the dinner room now.
Why not? Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, we're going to have the propertymanagement.com unfiltered van outside, and we're going to have a happy hour actually with Profit Coach. So, yeah, man, we'll make sure we'll see you and buy you a beer. All right, man. I'll see you at Broker Owner. I'll see you in Seattle in June. We've seen a lot of each other this year. It'll be a good time. And thanks again for joining today, man.
Yeah, appreciate you. Hopefully it was worth it.
Good time.
All right, talk to you later.